Welcome to the final video of your Best Year Ever series. And to have your best year, you have to have a philosophy to live by. As I had mentioned in an earlier video, you have to have great personal clarity. And while you may not be able to answer your exact mission statement yet, outside of the Myers-Briggs, this is the next ingredient. And here it is. You're meant to become the greatest version of yourself. That has to be the philosophy that you live by. And anything that is not in alignment with the greatest version of yourself, it's got to be X'd out, or you're not going to have the best year ever. Every coaching client I work with, every organization, I say, do you see any downside to being the greatest version of yourself? Of course, no, I don't see a downside to that. It's because there is no downside. And then I don't tell them what it is. I ask them what it means to them to be the greatest version of yourself. So I invite you to hit pause on this video, take the next 5 or 10 minutes, and write out, what would the greatest version of me look like? And then I invite you to make that philosophy to live by your first alarm clock of every day. Everyone in your sphere of influence will benefit from you becoming the greatest version of yourself. And then once my clients define it, I teach them a check-in to help them make consistent progress every day on being their greatest selves. And it involves something I refer to as remembering your ABCs. And I say there's an attitude aligned with being the greatest version of yourself. Is your attitude every day calibrated with you being the greatest version of yourself? Are you nourishing your emotions? Are you nourishing your mindset so that you can actually get there? And then B, are you treating your body like the greatest version of itself? Are you feeding it every day like $1 million racehorse, or are you treating it like a garbage dump? And then once again in life, you have all of your relationships. We call it C, connections, because it's cuter on the check-in. Remember your ABCs. Are you nourishing your connections every day as the greatest version of yourself? What would that look like? Life is about love. And then I remind them, if you remember your ABCs every day, it'll keep you aligned with your definition of the greatest version of yourself, and that will lead to the big D. What's the big D? The life of your dreams, your best year ever. What makes a great friend? It's one that encourages you to be the greatest version of yourself. It's not the one that says, hey, let's go get fall down drunk this Friday. What makes a great coworker? It's one that encourages you to be the greatest version of yourself. What makes a great leader of an organization? It's one who cares about you and drives out that greatest version of you. What makes a great book? One that drives out the greatest version of you. What makes a great meal? One that drives out the greatest version of you. Live by this philosophy day in and day out. Plato once said, excellence is not an act, it's what we repeatedly do. Excellence is a habit. Create the identity-based habit of living out life as the greatest version of yourself. If you do, you will live your best year ever. We want to help 1 million people discover the greatest versions of themselves this year. Please hit like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching our videos. We'll see you next week.